So now you can see my screen, right?
Yep. So what
You
exactly
can
am I
see
looking
my.
at?
So what you're looking at is the new WebLink.
Okay.
This is on top of your existing system. It's a jar file. It's a WAV file that I just dropped on Twist, right?
Okay.
On the left-hand side here, you can see we have the queue, we have the workflows, we have direct folder uploads, and we have any of the servers listed here. I can start and stop the servers, so I can stop my Twist server. You'll see it go orange.
Okay.
So I can initialize or reset it when I start it back up.
Cool.
That may or may, oh, it did work. Yeah. So it's back up. Through folders, I can look at folders that are on the machine and upload files to them, right?
So are
I
those the
can
hot
create.
folders you're saying?
Yep, they're basically what it's doing is it's looking through the workflows, and then it's looking in the workflows root to see if there's any folders that are associated with that and the host name. So even if you cross-mounted the Twist, you would be able to see folders from cross-mounted Twists in here. I can add subfolders, just like this. There's a subfolder, see it appears right there. I can drag and drop into here. Let me grab a random file. I do have some somewhere. No, they're on the boot disk. There we go. So I can grab a file. I can drag and drop it into these folders. Yeah, you see upload on the left there. It's a little quick, so if you look under activity on the left, see it pop in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're uploaded. The workflows piece actually shows the workflows on the machine and then takes the all the specs from the PPD.
Okay.
So you can see here that we have, I can pick the dynamic hot folder for this. I've added a couple of workflow settings here. And again, this, I can drag and drop onto it. It uploads. This is a cool feature of this too. If you drag and drop over this, it opens itself.
Cool.
Yeah. This, you can see here where it dynamically resizes, look.
Yeah.
At a certain point it disappears. This will actually work. Let me show you right here. Let me open up my dev thing. This will work on mobile phones, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Including the upload. Everything in here works on a mobile phone. And not only that, I can operate this system via a VPN to my house from the pub on my phone.
Well, that's what you need really when you're at the pub.
Exactly. But what I mean is, it's not just that, oh, look, it gets small, right? Everything works on a mobile phone. So here's the queue. Let me show you the full-size queue. We have the items in here. You can view the log on the end of them. Look, it will dynamically load the log. Yeah. You can view over here on the left, it has what I'm calling an action button. So this one's invalidate. So if I do this, it will validate it.
Okay.
These two are in work items. If I click on the work item, it's going to show me the PDF, and I get to decide whether to approve or reject it, and then I can OK that decision, right?
Now now, do you need to have an Acrobat Reader plugin installed?
No, you do not. Well, so if you don't have Acrobat Reader plugin installed, it detects whether you do or not, and it gives you a link to download it if you don't.
Okay.
Which means that also works on a mobile phone too.
Yep, cool.
Right. So you can actually pre-flight stuff on a mobile phone. If you select more than one thing in here, you get this bar at the top where you can do more actions. So you can delete, view the pre-flights, validate, or download. And what it does is it goes through, so all of these are in Preflight. So if I select the Preflight, it's going to show me them all in tabs, look. And I can go along and say, I want to approve number 1, I want to reject number 2, I'll reject number 3, and I'm going to approve number 4. And then when I go ahead and OK it, it will go ahead and do all those things I just did.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that one failed because I rejected it. So this is built on top of a complete API. You can see it right here. There's documentation right in it.
Yeah.
Right. It's built on a very simple API. Well, it turns out that proper, in quotes, InDesign plugins these days are actually written in HTML.
Yes.
So what I was able to do is, let's open a document up. Here we go. In fact, let's open 2 documents, because why the hell not? So you can see here, I have my, let me just pull this out from the side so I can see it. See, I have my WebLink extension here.
Yeah.
Right? Window, extensions, WebLink, it's right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set it up to my host. Hang on 1 second. So I can go ahead and set it up to my host right there and hit set. And you can see here it's listing the workflows again. Right?
Yeah.
Basically, so same thing it was doing before, except this time I'm not going to drag and drop, I'm going to hit send, right? And when I hit send, it's showing me a dialog of all the pages I have open. So I can choose here whether to do single pages, I can send documents, right? I can pick my PDF preset that I want to use. And then what I can do in here is I can basically name all of these documents at one time. So I can name them from the document name, and I can put the folio in. I can put there's a little syntax where I can put the 3 or 5 or whatever digit folio in. I can even put in the side, so it can tell it whether it's a left or a right-hand page. So you can see here I've got all these pages. I can select and deselect these as to whether I want to send them. And then when I hit process, it's going to go ahead and it's outputting the PDFs on those pages and sending them on. And if I go back into here, there they are, look.
Cool. Now you were saying, I think you were doing when you do single pages, you do them in batches so it doesn't tie up the InDesign.
So in actual fact it does, so this does actually tie up InDesign, because in the plugin I did before, I had in the plugin I had before, I was launching a background process, right? Because this is a proper plugin, I can't do that. But it's sending each one as it does it, and I do actually free up the UI a little bit. You can't do a background process in this. It's actually not possible. So even if I did a background process in here, I still couldn't do a background process because it's tied to this UI right here.
Yeah.
Right? It's just simply not possible. But you can still push out hundreds of pages with this thing, right? It's in no way, it's 1,000 times more productive than a person trying to do this manually. Yeah? It just is. I mean, there is no, I mean, you saw there I output, 10 pages. with like a few clicks. And you come back in and it's saved all the information. So I could, you know, I can go in here and give it this information. Oh, the other thing about this too that's kind of interesting is if we go look at the twist log on those things that I put in, I actually pass the variables to the twist itself. So you can see here the ID from InDesign, the folio from InDesign, what section was in design, and yeah, the side is in here too. So you can tell it's a right-hand page because it was a right-hand page in InDesign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fairly simple, but I mean, you know, it should be fairly simple. So what do you think?
It looks awesome.
I mean, it's pretty impressive I think it would be pretty impressive for you to be able to walk into a customer with an iPad on a VPN and have this interface on it.
Yeah, so how are you handling users?
There's no user management in it.
So that still needs
the user manage. It would still need to be done. So here's the current thing, right? At Donnelly, we never used users. Yeah. They're all completely fake in Twist anyway.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
even though you can't log in, the API is completely open, right? So I would just not necessarily add it. I mean, seriously, I would just not necessarily add it and float it and see how it went.
Yeah.
If you add users, it then complicates things because then you've got to have somebody log in, right? If you wanted to specify a user where they got to say who they were, that would be fair enough. But
well, the reality is that the customers we have today, if we don't have some degree of authentication, even if you just have one user, we have to have some method of authenticating. So there needs to be at least one user assigned that's not the system or admin that can be used to log into the interface either from InDesign or from whatever.
So why do they need that?
Because a lot of these companies have users that will be accessing it for uploading files, could be external vendors, uploading a file into Twist that's hosted at a particular data center, and their security policy would require it.
So how do they even do that then? Because you can get to the Twist API, period. I mean, I could literally download a file right off their machine if that was exposed to the internet. Because there's no real security on it.
So we don't, I mean, every time I log in using a user.
Yeah, I know you do, but the API is not secure. If you go to the IP address / if they secure the API specifically by securing / twist, right? That would stop people getting to it. But if you don't secure / twist, period, you can just go straight into the entire machine.
I mean, typically they're redirecting and on port 80, and they locked everything down on the server.
Well, if you did want to add user management, I mean, that would be a thing. I would do it using Java Web Tokens. It would be doable. This thing logs into the API, so you would probably have to add authentication to the API itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a model for doing that in Angular that's not. I don't know potentially how long that would take, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this looks good.
We never assessed for it because we never used that. And as soon as you start talking about users, then you start talking about databases.
Yeah, I know.
Not that stuff's difficult, but
yeah, at least if you're connecting to a particular twist, you need to have an authenticated user. Even if it's the same one for everybody.
Well, I mean, if you want to put user management in it, that's certainly something that could be added, right? That's something that could be added. It's an interface.
I don't think you need to add the user management in this though, because you could use that. You could handle the user stuff through the standard app or Java client, but it's going to have a native client. So, but at least the web link here that you're showing me and the plugin need to authenticate.
Right. I mean, yes, I would have to. Are you talking about the user management that exists already on it?
Yeah, because we wouldn't change anything unless I'm missing something. Our guys, the user management should be the same across all the products. It's the Darling directory server.
Right. So if I tied into that for the user management, I should be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what I actually do is I have a realm, a Tomcat realm that uses basic authentication, and then it actually bypasses that and uses JavaScript authentication tokens. So what it basically does is it's a stateless thing that works with all the HTTP calls, and in theory, when it comes in and it gets a call that it doesn't recognize, it brings up a login window. And it basically allows you to log in, and then it ties that login to it. So it would complicate things a bit, but it wouldn't be. It would be a further discussion based on what we've already written, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Is what it would be. And this the web interface I've got. I think what I said it was going to be somewhere around. I don't know if it's 11 or 15 days on it.
Yeah.
Right, and the plugin I've got about 4 or 5 days on it, which is significantly less than anything that you've done so far. So,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I showed a video of it to Frederick, and he said that's great. And he said, "Have you signed anything?" I said, "Have you signed anything with Graham, or a Splashlight signed anything?" I'm like, "No."
No, I'm waiting for Pete.
Well, the premise of me going ahead and doing this was I said to Pete, let me do it so that instead of discussing like propositions that might make no sense, let me do it, and then we'll do that. So he's trying to figure. I think Emma's trying to figure out what the price of this would actually be. So.
But you only have like 15 to 20 days in all this?
Yeah, so basically there's 15 days on this whole web interface, and there's 5 days on the plugin. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you said I was fast, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's impressive.
I mean, I'm expensive, but I'm quick.
Well, that's the whole idea, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. And I mean, I could show, I can basically show, I mean, our plan, I guess our plan is to just turn over the source to you guys, right? And if you need me to write a plugin for Illustrator, I'm reasonably sure I can do that in 4 to 5 days too. Yeah.
Well, if you've done the plugin and it's HTML, I assume that'll work with all CC.
Yes. So right now, I've built a Gradle Workflow, which is my build system for building these plugins, because the plugin editor from Adobe was shit. So I basically wrote my own.
Yeah.
In that 4 and 5 days. So the only difference would be is I think the actual script that it runs might be slightly different. I've never done this stuff in Illustrator, so I don't know. It might be the case. I mean, this obviously, Illustrator doesn't know about pages, right? So there'd have to be some stuff in here. My guess is the rest of it might actually work, though.
Yeah,
so it might just be a question of me disabling.
Select a workflow and export. So, yeah. What about Photoshop?
Right.
If people are just uploading Photoshop files that they wanted converted or something.
Yes, I could write this in Photoshop too.
Yeah. Well, if it works in CC, it should work in InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator.
Yes. Well, yes, it does, but the actual scripts on the back end are different, right? So when I hit send on here, it actually goes to InDesign, it looks up all the pages, and it builds retrieves the data to build this.
Yeah.
Right? Then the HTML page is actually doing this, presenting this. And when you hit process, it goes back to this and does it. So here's the thing, right? I'm pretty sure even writing them from scratch, I would still be writing them in like 3 to 5 days a piece, right? Because I reused most of this code. Here's the fascinating thing. This code in here is actually Angular. It's the same shit that's running in the page. It's exactly the same, which is why it was so quick, right? Here's another interesting feature of it as well. I built an Angular service that watches the interface. So if you change colors, the interface of the page goes the right color.
All right.
Right? So basically, it always looks pretty native. Yeah. So it looks like it really is part of InDesign. And I think I got pretty accurate on it. You can open the web page from it. So,
cool.
Oh yeah, and that's something I forgot. This piece here is sortable too. It's sortable and filterable.
Nice.
Let me send a bunch of files. I didn't bother with like all the complex searches that I've put in ones before because again, it's kind of, I think it's sort of overkill for this kind of stuff. So I just basically put this dynamic search in. So if I want page 5, I can, if I want page 5, I can do that. Yeah. If I want page 4, I can do that. If I want everything that's in validate, I can do that. Yeah. It's just a global search on everything. And the folders work the same way. If I want folder A, I can just do that. Look, give me folder A. If I want one that has the word folder in it, I can just do that, and it returns all of them. So it's designed for working very quickly in that way. The workflows are the same way.
Cool.
Yeah.
What if you have multiple servers?
They actually, if you have multiple servers, they actually show up in a list. That's a server name right there.
Okay.
So if I wanted to filter on the actual server name, if I had dev 1 and dev 2, I could do that. Yeah. So I could filter between them. I haven't tested it on multiple servers because I don't have multiple servers, but I'm assuming it works. There's no reason it shouldn't. Matt really, really desperately wants to test this.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's no way I'm letting you fucking load this on Donnelly's shit.
Yeah.
There's no way we're doing that. But he really, really wants to test it because he came over to my house and had a go with it, and he's like, "This is the coolest thing you've ever done." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool."
How's he doing?
It's getting there. He's doing all right. I mean, it's kind of funny because every time we have a discussion about this stuff, he comes back about he basically comes back about stupid stuff that Donnelly's doing, and I'm like, yeah, that's because they're Donnelly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have, he's like, oh yeah, we got asked this about this the other day, and he said that doesn't make any sense, does it? I'm like, no, but it never made any sense when I worked there, and it don't make any sense.
I don't know how they're making the technical decisions because they've made this decision to go with Workfront, AM at the core of everything, Workfront for the upfront project management, and then they're looking at ES for the approvals and annotations and stuff.
Yeah, they don't. He thinks he pissed Mike off the other day because Mike was talking about the Adobe Experience integration with something, and Matt turned around and he said he pointed at my cube, which is still there and empty. He said he pointed it and said, "Well, you know what?" He said, "You could have had a guy that could have done all this if you hadn't let him go."
Oh my God.
He basically, and I said, "What did Mike say?" He said, "He just said nothing and turned around and walked away."
And they're looking for their photo studio automation. They're looking at Workhorse and Photo One, Work Photo One or Photo One. What was it? I have to find my book.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But
yeah, so Workhorse and Photo One Workflow or something.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've no idea about that. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know how they make decisions or why.
No, I don't. We don't either. It's very, very odd.
I don't know how they make decisions. I don't know, and I didn't know that when I worked there.